Hello everyone, welcome to AI Anytime channel. So in this video, we will use OpenAI GPT's model, to create an API and later on an application that will take video as an input source, and in return it will generate you the minutes of meeting. Okay, so we'll be using multiple models here. Okay, we'll be using some of the state-of-the-art models to first get the transcription, from the audio, and then we'll pass that transcription to Da-Vinci 3, which is GPT 3.5, to get the minutes of meeting. And we'll take that code, we'll wrap that inside an API. Okay, we'll be using fast API to do that, and then we'll be using that API. We'll be testing it out first with maybe Postman or Insomnia, and then later on we'll be building an application that will create minutes of meeting from the video source. Okay, so we'll be using ChatGPT here, that will act as a co-founder. We'll be asking ChatGPT that what would be the right approach, to solve this problem. We have video files, we have to manually go through those, listen to those video, and then meetings of video, then interviews, and then generate the minutes of meeting, right? So let's ask ChatGPT. So you can see I'm here on my ChatGPT account. Okay, so I'll be asking ChatGPT, and let's see. To create minutes of meeting. The input source will be a video, and in return I would like to get the MoM. Okay, please suggest an approach in 5 steps to perform this task. Okay, perform this task. I would like to use Whisper, Da-Vinci 3, and Fast API to create the API. Okay, Da-Vinci for creating the MoM, and Whisper for transcripts. That's it, and let's see what it responds. So here you can see what I did, right? I have my prompt here. Okay, a very well explained prompt, and you should always keep this in mind. Your prompt should be, your prompt should be in a way that is self-explanatory. Okay, and then you will get good response from ChatGPT. So you can see, right, I just asked, I'm looking to build a project to create minutes of meeting, and the input source will be a video, and in return I would like to get the MoM. Please suggest an approach in 5 steps to perform this task. I would like to use Whisper for transcript, Da-Vinci 3 for creating the MoM, and Fast API to create the API. And now in return we got this output response, right? Use an automatic speech recognition that will use Whisper there, and then we'll do some kind of pre-processing to transcribe text if required, some regex or something, that if there's errors or irrelevant information. Then using OpenAI models like Da-Vinci 3 to extract relevant information, right? And then we get a structured document, like in a bullet point form, or some other text form. Okay, and then use a web framework such as Fast API to create a REST API that can receive video input and return generate the minutes of meeting document. So this is a very high level approach that we have received from ChatGPT, and now we'll be building the application. Okay, first the API and then the application. Okay, so let's see how we cannot do that. Okay, so the first thing will be this video file, right? That video file will be, and then we need an audio. Without audio we will not be able to directly get the transcript, so we need the audio. And for that, the easiest way of doing is we can use few libraries or some command line tools if you want to use it. The most famous is FFmpeg, right? So we can use FFmpeg there, to get the audio. First convert the video to audio. You can also use like MoviePy, which again the backend remains the same. It uses ImageMagick and FFmpeg and to do all those stuff, right? FFmpeg, MoviePy. If you want to get MoM from a YouTube video, you can use a library called PyTube to get the audio. Okay, you can directly get the audio from PyTube. Okay, just pass the video URL from the YouTube and you can get it. But we do not have. We're not going to. I'm not building this API keeping only YouTube in mind. That can be your any recordings. Like you can integrate this API in your Zoom meetings or Teams or any other meeting tool that we use. Okay, so we'll be using FFmpeg, and once we receive the audio, we need the text now, right? We need a transcript. So for that, we'll be using Whisper, released in October last year, right? Whisper, again by OpenAI, an open source model, one of the I'll say one of the best model out there for automatic speech recognition, ASR, to get speech to text. Whisper, they have a lot of features there, supports multiple languages, if I'm not wrong. They also lately have been providing, there is a workaround that you can get speaker diarization as well. Okay, so we'll be using Whisper to get the transcript. Once we have the transcript, now we'll pass that transcript to Da-Vinci 3, and we'll have a prompt there. We'll do a prompt engineering, and in that prompt engineering we'll get our MoM, right? That will be generated there. The MoM will get. Okay, and we will wrap this entire thing, okay, in an API, right? We like to use this as an API. We'll be using Fast API there. Fast API is a web framework. Okay, so the input source will be video file and the output will be an MoM, the minutes of meeting, and we'll be creating an API to use that. We'll be testing that API on maybe Postman or any other tool. So I use Insomnia. I'll be using Insomnia on Ubuntu. So let's see how we can build this. Okay, so what I'll be doing, I'll be keeping my tab. Okay. Okay, before we start writing the code, I'll be showing you that you will find the code here in my repository on GitHub. You can go and try yourself. You can extend this. You can integrate more features into it to get summarization, to do some kind of topic modeling or entity extraction, right? You can extend this as maybe as a SaaS product, okay, and list your product on Product Hunt, and let's see what kind of traction you get on that product, right? You can always extend this for your own purpose. Okay, so you can get this repository over here. You can get all the codes, and if you haven't subscribed this channel, please do subscribe. You will get more content on AI, machine learning, and some thoughts, and we'll also have podcasts soon. Okay, so please subscribe the channel and share with your peer. Okay, so let me go back to my this desktop. I'll be creating a new folder here. I'll be calling it MoM API. Okay, and in MoM API I'll be in terminal. I'll be opening in VS Code. Okay, so you can see I do not have anything right now, okay, in this folder. Let's open the terminal right here. You can see I'm on my desktop, and this is my project, right? So I'll be needing a few things here. I'll be first creating a requirement file. Okay, so let's create requirements.txt, and after that I'll need py file, maybe app.py. That's it. What else? In requirement.txt I'll be using couple of more than a couple of libraries. Okay, just let me bring my monitor so I can see. Okay, so in requirement we'll be using OpenAI Whisper, and then we'll be also using again no, not OpenAI Whisper, and then OpenAI to interact with Da-Vinci 3, which is GPT 3.5. Okay, if you want to know more about Da-Vinci 3, you can watch my previous video that where we used Da-Vinci 3 to generate README from the code file. So that is developed on Instruct GPT. Okay, reinforcement learning with human in feedback loop. Okay. Very powerful, the most capable OpenAI model at this moment. OpenAI, and we'll be using again. We can use FFMPEG. We'll be using fast API as well. We'll be using UVCon. We're using Python multipart to collect the form data, multipart, and what will AIO files. So we'll be making a post request, and we have to operate with the file there, video file, right? So AIO files, Python multipart. I think this should do. Okay. Now let's create a virtual environment. So I'll say Python 3 -m venv and .venv. You can see a virtual environment has been created. I'll say yes, it is done. I'll go inside that venv, cd bin. If you are on Windows, you have to do scripts, cd bin, and then source activate. So you can see right hand side I am the environment now. Okay, so I'll do a couple of cd dot to go to the main directory. Okay, and now what I will do, I will make a pip3 install requirements.txt, and it start install it, right? It will take little time, so let me do one thing. I'll show you. Okay, I'll do OpenAI Whisper GitHub. It will take you to Whisper documentation. Okay, you can your Whisper, you can see released 4 months ago, October or September, and they have around 22.2k stars. A lot of people are using Whisper. Okay, so it's state of the art when it comes to automatic speech recognition. There are a lot of Hugging Face spaces as well using Whisper, and so let's see. They have different size, different models. You can use the tiny weights. You can see the weights, and then base and small and medium and large. Okay, depending on your computational power. So Whisper is again compute hunger. Okay, and for this video I'll be using the base model. Okay, I'm not going. If you go to small, medium, large, the accuracy will be even better, depending on the audio file and the physical properties of that audio. Okay, so let's see if we got installed. It's still installing. If you come here on Whisper, you can see it supports multiple languages, and they have word error rate. Let me come back here and see. Okay, Spanish has the lowest word error rate. Okay, and then they have a very neat and clean documentation, very easy to use, very powerful. Okay, and better than cloud cognitive services. If you really want to keep it offline, you can use Whisper. If you are thinking about your data privacy and governance, you do not want to send data to your cloud data centers, right? So you can use Whisper in that case. So let me go back here. So you can see we have installed. Okay, and now what I will do, I'll be heading back to app.py, okay, and I will start writing the code. For that we need a video file. Let me see where I have that video file. So what I will do, I'll come back and I'll be using this video. Let me first copy. So I'll paste the video file here, and in this video we'll be creating the minutes of meeting automatically, okay. And let me just play the video.
Yeah, AI, I hate the word AI called artificial intelligence. I call it Alibaba intelligence.
Yeah. Might end up being true. You never know.
So this video is basically an interview between not an interview, a very candid chat between Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba in China, and Elon Musk. Everybody knows, let's say both of them. It was, I think, in somewhere in 2018 or 19, okay, if I'm not wrong. This was recorded, okay, and we'll be using this video to get the minutes of meeting, okay. And let's see, okay. So I'll be going back to VS Code. Let me just go back to VS Code. I will start writing the code, okay. So what we need, okay. So we'll first importing Whisper. So we have imported Whisper, and we'll import OpenAI as well. OpenAI. So Whisper for ASR, getting the transcript, and OpenAI for generating MoM. These two. Okay, what else? So we need, let's import some utilities. Import OS, import sys. We'll be needing to get the APIs and all. Okay, and we have to also use sub process, because we'll be using FFMPEG. So we'll use that inside sub process. So import sub process, and now let's import fast API. So I'll say from fast API import fast API, okay, which is will be capital fast API, okay, perfect. And then we'll be using file, and then we'll be using upload file, perfect. And then import AIO files, okay. I think done with the imports from fast API. Let me write to create a simple API. Not create a, okay, we'll be creating a very simple API here. And now what? So we'll need we have to load the model. So what I'll say model, and we'll be using whisper.load, and you can see this load model, okay. And if I show you, okay, you see this load model where you have to define the name of the model, which is again a string, okay. Load a whisper ASR model. See the documentation over here for this particular function or the method. We have this load a whisper model, the parameters, one of the official model names listed by whisper.available models. So you can also do it, you can also check whisper.available model, print it, find out all the models available like tiny, base, small, medium, and large, okay. So as I said, I'll be using the base model. So I'll say whisper.base, and we have loaded the model. Now let's do one thing, okay. Let's write a function that will first use FFmpeg to convert the video to an audio. So what I will do, I'll write this function, define video to audio, and I will be passing the video file that's as a parameter, and then video to audio, okay. And then let's define a variable audio file, and we have to name this audio file that we'll get, okay. You can name it. So what I want to name it, okay, so input audio.mp3. now this would be my audio file name, okay. And then I will use this audio file, I will send this audio file to Whisper to get the transcript out of it, okay. Now let's use subprocess.call function, because it was, you can see, right, it has been suggested, and it contains few of the arguments, the args, okay. The first FFmpeg, and then I'll be using file. You can also ask ChatGPT, like just we can ask that we have we want to use FFmpeg, to convert video to audio in a sub process. You will also get a similar kind of a command. Okay, so will be input as a video file and our output will be an audio file. Okay, and this is what we are trying to do with this. And then we have some kind of let me just do one thing. Okay, and then we'll be using some standard output and error handling. Okay, so in standard out we'll use subprocess.devnull. Okay, I am on Ubuntu. You might have to check if you want to, if you are using Windows, what kind of, it might throw you an error depending on the OS that you have. Standard error, yeah, standard error, and this should be okay, subprocess dot not devnull, excuse me, I make a mistake, it's standard out, and this will also be fine. This looks okay. And in, so what we are doing here, we are running this FFmpeg command. Okay, which is FFmpeg is a command line utilities. Okay, it's, you can run FFmpeg command in from your terminal, and you can also do it from your Python file. Okay, and to do that in Python file we are using subprocess. Okay, and if you are using Colab, you can directly run it as a command line utility, like just exclamation mark, and the way you run the pip command, you can use FFmpeg command, because Colab is again running on top of Linux machine, right? So you can, in Linux it's very easy to work with the command line utilities. In Windows it's a little difficult. Okay, when you compare with a Linux machine. Okay, so we'll just return the audio file. Okay, and this is what, so this is the first function that we have written over here. Okay, video to audio, video file as an input, and then we are getting an audio file. That file name should be input audio.mp3, right? Now let's run this. And what I will do, I'll also keep this model right now as a hash, and I would like to test this code if it's working. Okay, because when you load the model, it's around 134 or 25 MB, and it will take from few seconds to minutes, right? So let's see that if we are running this code. So what I can do, I can just run it. Okay, and I'll be using Python 3 app.py, and to run this I'll be using video file name, which is interview.mp4. Perfect. Let's see. So as you can see, we have now received this input audio.mp3 file, right? So what we did, we had this function over here, video to audio, and we are using subprocess, and we use this FFmpeg command, right, to get this audio file. Okay, and we can see that input audio.mp3, right? So what I will do now is, once we have received this audio.mp3, and we have to use now this audio file to get the transcript, and we'll use Whisper to get this transcript, right? So let me do one thing. I'll just make this hash as a comment, and I'll write the code. Now the function that will give us the transcript, we are using the base model here for Whisper. So what I will do, I will now write the audio to transcript, and I'll passing the audio file. So now this will take an audio file as an input source, and it will return the transcript. So I'll be calling this result. Not much, you can get this from documentation of Whisper as well. So model dot getting the transcript, and it's not transcript, it's transcribe. Okay, and then we are passing the audio file. That's it. So what we are doing, we have loaded this model. If you see over here, right, model whisper.load model base, and in the we are using the same loaded model here, the base model, to get this transcription on the audio file, and our audio file will be nothing but this input audio.mp3, right? Then what we'll do transcript equals result, and I need the text, only the text. So if you run the result, the variable that we have result. If you print that, you will get the different, how should I put it, it's kind of a dictionary if I'm not wrong. There are more than one value. We have text, and then we have other details as well, like languages and all. So I only want the text, nothing else. And then what we can do, result text, then we can print this. Let's not print this. What I'll do, I'll say return transcript. That's it. So this is basically the code for getting the transcription from the audio file. Now what we will do, let's try this and let's run it. So the first thing is we have to write this video to audio file, and I'll be writing this in video to audio, that file that we have, interview. So I'll be calling this interview.mp4. Let's store this somewhere in an variable, so that will be my audio file. And I'll be also getting this transcript. So I'll just say transcript function that I have wrote. I'll say transcript dot, I'll call this function audio to transcript, and I'll pass the audio file, and let's print this transcript to see if we are able to get the desired result. Okay, so print transcript. I think this looks good. So now let's see. Okay. So this will take little time. This might take from few seconds to few minutes, depending on the size of the video, that how big the video size is, and if you are on CPU or if you are on GPU. So I am on CPU. I'm using a CPU machine. Okay, that's why I'm using a base model. But it will not take much time for this video, which is around 3 minutes long. Okay, it will take around a minute maybe max. So let's see that, right? And you'll get the OpenAI Whisper documentation over here, as I said, right? If you can also use tiny models, if you have very limited computational power, it's required around 1 GB of virtual RAM, and then same as base, and you can see the relative speed. Okay, tiny being the most faster, and large being the slowest one. But of course, that's accuracy is also a topic of discussion there. Okay, let me go back to see. So we got this transcription, right? We got this. Yeah, I hate the word AI called artificial intelligence. I call it Alibaba intelligence, and that's what, if you go and watch that video, if you listen to what Jack Ma is saying, it's kind of the same thing that we got it here from the transcripts. I'll say this is more than this is more than enough, I'll say, to get the minutes of meeting from this transcript. Basically, there might be some error in the words, but this is okay. We are using the base model out here, right? What I will do, I'll hash this again. Okay, I don't want to use this, or maybe let's keep it as it is. Okay, let me remove this print statement. I'll just hash this. Okay, print transcript. Now we have got the transcript. Now what we have to do, we have to write the this prompt. So we have to send this transcript to Da-Vinci 3. We have to use GPT 3.5 here, that we saw in the ChatGPT. We asked ChatGPT, okay, that how we can build this. So what I have to do, I have to define OpenAI .api key. So I'm directly loading it, but it's not a good practice. You should load this, and then you can create an env file, and where you can store your credential API, and you can also load it through JSON. But I will just load it here. I'm not deploying this anywhere, so I'll just load this. Let me get it from. That's it. I have loaded my API key, and now I'll be just writing the code. Let me also, I don't need this right now. I'll just make it again hash. And now I'll be writing the code for writing the function to generate the MoM, right? So I'll call it MoM generation. MoM generation. Okay, and in this, only thing will be my audio file, right? I'll be sending the I'll be writing the prompt. So audio file, we have already done it, right, on top. And here I'll be having a prompt, and I'll be writing the OpenAI code. If you want to learn more about that, how you can get this code from the documentation, you can also try OpenAI Playground, where they have a web-based UI where you can go and interact with all the different preset. You can try their services and models, and they also give you an option to get the code. Okay, so you can also take the code directly from there, paste it over here, and just change the prompt. But I'll be writing it. So the first thing is response. Let me bring my monitor. Response. Yeah, OpenAI.completion. I'll be using that completion and model engine. So OpenAI.completion.create, and in this I'll be writing it. So model, my model will be, I said, text hyphen Da-Vinci 003, right? I'll be using this model, Da-Vinci 3 model. Okay, and then I'll be model text Da-Vinci 003, and then this will be my prompt. Okay, my prompt will be this: can you generate the minute of meetings in form of bullet points and for the below transcript. And then I'll be just using this below transcript, and then I'll be this question mark and the slash, just do the line break, and then I'll be doing prompt. That's it, the prompt. Excuse me, let me see. Prompt. We have model, we have prompt, we have temperature. Let's keep it 0.7. I'm not covering these parameters in detail. You can, I have covered this in the last video. You can go and watch where we created a readme generator. I'll call it 512 as max tokens. You can find about max tokens, temperature, which is for creativity and randomness in your answer, in your response. Then we have top P, we have penalties, and top P equal to 1, and then frequency penalty, which is 0, and presence penalty equal to 0. That's it. So this is my completion.create method, where we have defined some parameters that this is going to be my prompt, and I want to use Da-Vinci 3 model, which is GPT 3.5. We have then defined maximum tokens, what should be my maximum tokens as a limitation. Okay, so that's it, and then I will return a response choices, and if the first, then 0, and then only the text. Okay, so this response, and if you go, it's like it gives you a JSON response. Okay, and there are some key values pair as well inside that. Okay, so I only need the choices one, the first one, and only need the text. Okay, so this is for MoM generation. Okay, so now we can try this. So what we'll do, okay, we'll first see if this is returning the desired result. So I'll just use this first two function that I have commented over here. I will just bring it again here, and I will remove the hash and have this transcript. And now once you have the transcript, what we'll do, we'll have the final result. Let's call it final result. Final result equals, and then you use this MoM generation function. Okay, so we have this MoM generation function. We are just passing the transcript, and transcript, and now let's print final result. And let's see if we get the response there. Okay, so now let's run it. Let me clear it. So I'll say clear. Okay, and now what I will do, I will just run this. So Python 3 app.py. So it will again take a little time, because first it will use Whisper. The program will use Whisper to get the transcript, extract the transcript from the audio file. That the audio file that we got it from FFMPEG. from the video, and once the transcript is there, we are using Da-Vinci 3 model to get the minutes of meeting from that particular transcript that we are using this function. We have sent this transcript here, right? So it will take up to a minute, depending on the computational power and also the bandwidth, the internet speed. That's because it has to connect with the OpenAI server here, right? So let's wait. It says OpenAI is not defined. Okay, where did I miss? OpenAI. Here. Excuse me. OpenAI without completion. Let's try a typo there. You can tweak these max tokens that I want the 512, right? You can define it till 4000 or 4096. You might go through the documentation to get the exact number. If you think that the transcript is quite big, the meeting has went around an hour or more than an hour, then you will have a bigger transcript. And if you want to generate a very accurate minutes of meeting, very complete minutes of meeting, then you have to increase the maximum tokens. So you can see over here, right, we got the minute of meeting, which says we have 5 bullet points here, or 5 pointers. We say that discuss the concept of AI and how it could affect the world. Discuss the idea of how predictions of the future are usually wrong. That Jack Ma have discussed about that in that video. If you go and listen to that video. Discuss how technology is advancing and how it is changing the way people view the world. Discuss the idea of how computer can be a clever tool, but human beings are still smarter. That Jack Ma kind of emphasized in that video. He says that humans should not get compared with machine. A machine can be only compared with other machine. And discussed how in the future to survive people must opt the queue of love. Now this, I really liked it. So we are able to get minute of meeting from that video file. So we had this video, right? If you see the interview.mp4, and now we are able to get this final result, which is nothing but the minute of meeting, right? Now, so there are a few steps that we performed, right? We first used FFMPEG within sub-process to get the audio file. Once we got the audio file, we used Whisper model, to get the transcript. And once we got the transcript, we used OpenAI Da-Vinci 3 model, to get this minute of meeting. Now, what we will do will be, we will be using Fast API, which is a web framework, to wrap this up inside an API service. Okay, we would like to, build an API, a very simple API. So let's see how we can build it. Let me comment this out first. Okay. So we have already, imported Fast API. What I will do, I'll define an app here. I'll call app and Fast API, and this is okay. We have defined. I'll be not following any naming and all. Okay. So this is what I want, and we have now functions. This function we will use this as it is, okay, and we will use this. So first thing, we'll be writing a get, and maybe let's write so app.post. Okay, we'll not write any guest. App.post, and our endpoint will be upload video. Okay, so upload video. And now here I will be writing the async function def upload video, not self. Give the file is kind of define the data structure here of your data, that the input file that you will have, right? So upload file and file name. So upload file equals file, and then that's it. Let's write a pass now. Okay, so we have defined the structure of the input file that we will have, right? Upload file, it will be a file. That's what we are defining here inside this upload video function that we have, right? Now let's use file name, file.file name, this is correct, and we'll use await, okay, because we are writing an async function to upload the video and then do some kind of processing, right? So async, because we have to also save the video, so we have async, and then we'll write with, if we have imported AIO files, okay, async with AIO files dot file, AIO files, not dot file, it should be open, okay, and this is our file, right? So open dot file name, and that will be VR mode, writing as so, and now here we will use await f dot write, we are writing the file content, yes. So await file dot read, we will here read await file okay, await file dot read. Now let's start using this three variables that we have, right? We can use the same code over here, right? So let's first get this audio file. Okay, we have this audio file. Now we'll use this same transcript, and then we'll use the final result. Okay, well, let me remove all these three, we don't need it. Okay, so Control S, and then let's first return, we'll see what we are getting, return final result. So what we did here, we had an endpoint upload video, and in that endpoint we have defined that we are getting to have file as an input, okay, and then we are using AIO files to first save it and then read it, and once we read it, we are passing that file to a couple of functions that we have written over here on top. Let's run it. So what I will do, I'll minimize this, okay, and I will be going to that, okay, MoM API, and I'll be opening terminal. Let's run it. What I will do, I'll be going inside that VNV ctbin source activate, and let's clear, and then c dot clear, and let's run this. So I'll be using UVCon to run this, the UVCon server, and my file name is app, and the app that I have defined is also app, right? So I'll be using UVCon app : app, and I want to use the reload because I want it to automatically be reloaded when I'm changing anything in the program, right? And let's see. So you can see, right, it starts saying that okay, it's running on 8000. We can go on 8000. Let's open the 8000 localhost 8000. It will take you to the Swagger UI, right? This is the Swagger UI that we are using, okay, and now you can make a lot of changes over here as well. You can define your specification of your API. You can make it very well documented by passing it some descriptions and all the versions and everything. So you can see over here, we have a post endpoint upload underscore video, and in that we have a multi-part form data. We are using Python multi-part, right? And when you click on try it out, it will give you an option where you can upload your file. So what I will do, I'll upload this file, okay, and I'll upload this interview.mp4 file that I have. Okay, so I have uploaded this interview.mp4 because I want the minutes of meeting of this interview that has happened between Jack Ma and Elon Musk, right? So let's execute. Once I hit on the execute button, it will take a little time. If you come down, you will see some validation, successful response. You'll get the response over here, and you have some schemas defined, right? And let's get back to the terminal and see. So you can see the program is running. It will take a little time. It takes around 1 minute for this video that we have, interview.mp4. The video is around 3 to 4 minutes long, between 3 to 4, and the entire process is taking a minute. right? You can reduce the latency if you have a GPU machine, or if you have a good virtual machine where you can deploy this, right, a program. So just wait few seconds and let's see. So what we can also do, we just returning the final result. Let's see first. Okay, I think it will be very raw result. Now we can make it little pretty. Okay, let's first see what we get. Still running. Okay. Yeah, so you can see now we have a response. This was our request URL, localhost colon 8000 slash upload underscore video. And if you want to use CURL, you can use this. You can also copy it from here, and you can run it from your command line, or from wherever you want inside a program as well, right? And this is the response body we have got. Minute of meeting, and you can see, right, it's a line break. It was discussed that artificial intelligence should be called Alibaba intelligence. It was discussed that AI has potential to open a new chapter in the society for people to understand themselves better. It was discussed that most predictions about the future are wrong, and it's perfect, right? We're getting a very good result. So now what we can do, let's make little changes in the code. Let's try doing it. Okay, so this is one. I will remove this return final result. I do not want to return this. Response body. I want to make it little pretty. So what I will do first, because let me just go back to see. So we are getting this line break. Let's do one thing. You can also try indent and all, but what we can do, we can just use the replace function of Python, and we string replace that we replace, right? And then we use this with this. Okay, we have now response body. Now what we can also do, we can get a dictionary. So response dict equal response, and I can also do one thing, response, and this will be my response body. And now I can return this response dictionary, or maybe the JSON. Can we also get JSON? So JSON result equal to, I like to dump this. So JSON dot dumps response dictionary, and then return this JSON underscore result. Yeah, and now let's see if we are able to get thing here. So what we have done, we have this response, and we first replace this with the empty space, and then we have got the dictionary, and then we dump that in the JSON. So what we'll do again, can we again run this, execute? It will again take a little time, but I'm very happy with the result that we got. Okay, so this was the result, right? You see, we have got around 5 to 6 pointers, very precise. You can also download this, the response, right? Now what you can do, you can integrate this in your existing application. If you have a software, if you have a product, if you want to build a product, you can also use this, or you can host this API on some excuse me, API gateway platform. Maybe we can host this on Rapid API, right? We have Rapid API where we can Rapid Hub or Rapid API, I forgot. We can host it there. Okay, and you can make it a subscription basis. You can deploy it, you can integrate it in your applications. That can be one component of your big analytics platform also. So the scope is quite huge for this kind of services that you have, right? AI, we build an AI model and then create an API and then serve that, or then sell it as a service. Okay, so let's see. Okay, it's again running. Okay, good. Okay, I got an error. Say name JSON is not defined. Oof, I forgot to import JSON. So what I will do, I'll just say import JSON. Okay, and then again I will run this. So then again let's do one thing. Let's again hit execute. Meanwhile, let me copy this. So what I will do, I'll be using this uh, uh, tool called Insomnia, which is Insomnia is not responding. Let me force quit this, and then I will again start. Yeah, you can see it started. So you can see I am on this Insomnia, right? And what I will do, I'll create a new HTTP request. I want to test this API that we have created. If you come over here, it's still running. But what we have to do, if you use Insomnia, if you use Postman or any other tool, right? Postman is one of the most famous API management and application tool that they have, right? So I want to do a post request, right? You can see all the methods, right? All the request methods that we have: get, post. So for this, we have to do a post request, and this is my endpoint, and I'll be creating, let me just see the body, it's multi-part form, right? And in value we have to upload a file, and let me call this file, and here I will upload the interview.mp4, the video file, and like to test this API. And of course we haven't deployed this, we are just testing this API locally. I can see localhost 8000, and you can see now I got this, right? Minute of meeting and introduction of the topic, Alibaba, and the same thing that we received, but little changes. So what I will do, let's see this if it's working perfectly fine. So if you come over Insomnia, we'll upload this in the choose file section, interview.mp4, and let's hit send. So you can see it started loading, right? If you see the right hand side, it's provide a very good UI as well, right? So you can see it's also showing the time that is taking, that you will find out that what time it took to respond that API. We have request and response, right? So it will take around, I think, a minute or more than a minute. Let's wait. So if you come back to this Swagger UI where we got our result, you see the response body, we'll get a similar result here on Insomnia as well. Maybe I can show you one more thing. So if I do redoc, what did I get? Now let's go back to Insomnia and see, okay, it's working. So Fast API also provides this when you use Starlet, even redirect response. You can see the API documentation by doing redoc as well. Excuse me. It's taking a little time. As I said, it will take more than a minute. So it's around 1 minute 20 seconds. Let's see how much time it takes. Yeah, you can see it took around 1 minute and 67 seconds. It gave me a 200 message, which is successful. And you see I got the minute of meeting over here, right? The same discussion about AI. And so what we did, we just tested this API with help of an API management and tracking tool, which is Insomnia here. Very lightweight, very minimalistic. You can also use the web UI that they have. You can go and create an account, and you can use it. And the reason that redoc was not working that time, because I think I made couple of requests from that tool and also from here, and now you can see that I'm getting this response. If you go and see a lot of documentation of API services that people provide, you might see this kind of UI, right? You have left hand side, it define all your methods, and then you have this kind of documentation. You can test it out, right? Now if I make docs again, it will take me to the Swagger UI back, right? Similar. So what we did in this video, guys, we took a video interview.mp4, and in last we got this minutes of meeting. We created a program that takes video as an input and generates MoM. Now, what we can do, we like to deploy this. Maybe we can create a very simple web UI where it will take there will be a file uploader where we'll upload our video file and it will give you the transcript and minutes of meeting. So basically we're helping people to reduce the time, because to create minute of meeting they have to go through the entire video, listen to it, or the transcript, they have to read it. It takes, like, if it's taking 30 minutes or an hour, if you use this kind of program, it will take you a minute or two, right, to generate that. So we are reducing that time and effort over there, right? So if you like this video, please like, and if you have any thoughts or feedback, please comment in the comment box, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and share this channel with your friends and peers. Thank you so much.